Hello, everyone, and welcome to Jump Up Supercast, the only podcast on the internet where every single host is just going to be one big old new leader in Civilization 6. I'm your host, Will, and joining me today, Brandon.
Bump to the bump to the bump to the base. Bump to the bump to the bumble.
Noah.
Don't start a war with us, please. Don't be a Gandhi.
Seth.
Shit. I'm always expected to be last, and now what the fuck? I'm second to last.
That went exactly as I hoped it would.
No! My rhythm! You ruined it!
And who's Mill?
I've never been more excited to record an episode of the Jump Up Supercast.
Oh boy,
What's
that's
your excitement?
wow.
Never been more excited.
Wow. I wonder why. You know what? I mean, please be excited. I believe a wise man once said.
Mm-hmm.
How's everyone doing this week?
Great.
Well,
Good.
I mean, I had something pretty great planned on Thursday, and then that kind of fell to waste, but that's okay. It happened.
Yeah, that happens. Man, I'll tell you that. I mean, I guess we'll get right to it. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Jump Up Supercast. Will was relying upon the Nintendo Direct happening this week to sort of have news for the podcast. Obviously, big natural disasters happened. Understandably, things have to get moved around. So that didn't happen. First and foremost, best of luck to everyone that's affected by that. Obviously, that's the first thing to be said.
Good news. 99% of the buildings that lost power are already back on. So, progress.
That is, I mean, and this is going to be old when you hear this, so it might be 100%.
It might even be better by the time this podcast
That is the
goes
thing.
up.
Japan has a really good infrastructure system. They're very good at that. We're not good at that in America. We're too spread out.
Yeah.
But we're going to get the Nintendo Direct next week probably. But, boys, normally this is where we'd hop straight into the news, go into the stuff, but I want to do a little bit of a different thing to kick off this podcast, right?
Right.
I want to go down memory lane, right? Because while we did not get the Nintendo Direct this week, we've got a lot of Nintendo Directs in the past, right?
Right.
So I think we're are we over 100 now? I think we're darn close to it.
No.
I wouldn't go that
When
far,
I looked
but-
this up, when I went through it, Brandon, you will be shocked. You will be shocked at the number.
I can't believe it.
Yeah, that's the thing. So I just want to go over just a little bit of Nintendo of Direct's past, like Ebenezer Scrooge in The Christmas Carol.
Oh, sweet. We're going to learn a lesson?
We're going to learn a lesson.
Nice.
At the end of all of this, I want to know the lesson that you all learned from going over this.
I better be a better person at the end of this, but it's going to take some work, but I hope I am.
We will get it done. So, okay, here's a question. Muzamil, you can't... I'm just going to throw you a lot of questions and see if you can guess these right. Because Muzamil's going to be busted because he has all this stuff locked and loaded in his brain.
It's true.
When do you think was the first ever Nintendo Direct?
Are you asking Muzzy? Or are you
Yeah.
I'm asking all of you. All of you but Moose. Moose knows. Moose could tell you right now.
The thing is,
It
I'm
is
not
not
allowed
question.
to answer because this is all stored in my memory for the last 6
What
years.
a-
So,
I
yeah.
mean, I don't know if that's necessary information, but
No, it's not.
It's
not
not.
a guess.
It's not. Look, I'm not saying it's a good thing. I'm just saying I have this information stored in my head.
So he said it was 6 years, so 2012? June 2012?
yeah.
No.
No.
I was going to guess 2012 also. I'm going to guess January 2012. I don't know. January
September
23rd.
2012.
All right. Noah, do you have a guess?
August 2011.
Oh, Muzamil, can you give me the let's see if you actually are worth your money.
October
What is it?
2011, baby.
October 21st, 2011. So
Exactly.
Noah was very close.
Almost.
Almost. If I went and I looked at this, boy oh boy, what a weird thing.
It's
The
very
entire time,
different.
extremely different. One, the Japanese and it was only in Japan and North America. So sorry, Europe. Bad luck,
I'm
Chuck.
not sorry.
I'm very sorry.
The Japanese presentation was Iwata, but it was Iwata. He did a 15-minute interview with the director of Mario Kart 7. That was half the direct, was just covering that. which was pretty wild.
Imagine if that happened nowadays. There'd be fucking riots in the street.
It would. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's really.
It would be nasty. Oh man,
It would. My favorite thing too is that, and then meanwhile in the North American presentation, we see Reggie Fils-Aimé. That's the Fils-Aimé. That is the subtitle. It's Nintendo Direct, October 21st, 2011. Reggie Fils-Aimé presents Nintendo updates. So he is the thing, right? Now they're like, look at Mario Tennis Aces, look at Super Smash Brothers. Back then, baby, you're showing up for Reggie, okay? And here's what Reggie's got for you. You got to see 30 seconds of Iwata's interview with the Mario Kart 7 director, but you got a lot of Street Pass, like 5 minutes on Street Pass that Reggie talks to you about, and you can now, this is the shadow drop for this presentation. I love this. A 3D music video from Shrek where they dance to Thriller. That was the thing. You can go and download now on your Nintendo 3DS.
That was a Japanese
Why don't I remember that at all?
I feel like I should have remembered it, and I'm disgraced that I don't.
How is that not more of a meme? What the fuck?
Yeah, it's a crazy that we let that pass.
Wait, what? This was in the American version as well?
This was only in the American
Exclusive
version.
to the American
Exclusive
version.
to America. We got the Thriller.
Oh,
And how did we not meme that the hell?
Yeah, what the?
I know, right?
Dude, this is like a shame.
So like, when this started, it wasn't necessarily about breaking news. You know, it was more like, hey, like, Nintendo's gonna give you info on games, directly, like, you know, from the source, right?
Reggie presents Nintendo updates. That's what the title is, you know, like. So that was weird, and like I think continuing sort of down that path, we have I'm not going to do all of them obviously because there's so many, but I think this one's of note. Do you remember the Nintendo Direct pre-E3 2012?
Oh, no. That's a long time ago.
This one should be memorable. This one, yeah.
This is when they never did this
I know
again.
exactly what you're talking about. Yes.
What is it?
It's the Nintendo Wii U reveal, wasn't it?
Not reveal, but yes.
Basically, it was where they showed you all the built-in software of the Nintendo Wii U. It was just 20 or so minutes of them showing off the UI.
Was this non-specific action figure?
Non-specific?
Non-specific action figure was born.
This is where he was
I remember
born.
that.
And
That
this one
video was
funny.
awful.
Oh, it's funny because, like, okay, so clearly their pacing has gotten much better in this day and age, right? But at the time, like, they were new to it, so like things were drawn out way too much. Like, they talked about Miiverse for ages, right?
Yes, they talked about the Wara Plaza. That was where we learned what that is.
And I don't know if this was like an admission that, you know, maybe like people weren't used to the direct format yet, but like that E3 conference, they basically recapped everything that was supposed to be gotten out of the way in this direct.
Yeah.
Everything was just recapped again in the E3 conference.
Perhaps the biggest thing that we learned from this, though, is genuinely though, is the Pro Controller was the first time it was ever shown off. Was there, which is
Wii U gamepad got its name.
The Wii U gamepad got its name.
What a memorable!
They
name.
never did this again. I remember when the Switch was coming out, people say, "When are we getting the Direct on the Switch UI?" And that never happened because spoilers,
good.
Not fun. Yeah,
No,
good.
It was awful. It was terrible.
No,
It
this
was
is
so
like
awkward, weird.
There was some confusion.
like here's the thing, like no one actually cares about these minute details, especially the way it's presented, where it's like, here is, you know, it's just like no.
It was Iwata in a conference room with a thing behind him, and I love Iwata, but that was not the way to
there
present.
was
that
also
stuff.
weird confusion where it's like people were like, "Is this a new console or is this like a new attachment to the?"
Well, that was the year before, but yeah.
Oh, wait, was it?
But like,
But-
yeah, you're confusing things, but
It's fine. But here's just a straight up trivia question. I'm not going to cover anything besides this. What was the first game specific direct of any format? Where they said here is a video. This is a Nintendo Direct Mini. I will give you the hint, and it's about this game. It was only in Japan.
I'm going to be excluded for this because Will already told me that. So.
It wasn't Splatoon, was it?
Is it Fire Emblem Heroes?
I will give you the
Jesus
month
Christ,
and the
this
year.
is
I don't know if
recent.
it'll help you.
it's in 2012, guys.
July 18th, 2012.
Also, we've had a lot more game-specific directs before Fire Emblem. Jesus.
It's fine. It's fine.
I don't
You
give a
can't
shit
get
about-
mad at him. You can't get mad at him for not knowing that Muzuma.
No, okay, you know.
I'll let you know. You're never gonna guess this. Brain Age Concentration Training was the first ever game to get a Nintendo Direct Mini. Only about it.
Did you know that game just came out in Europe last year?
What?
What?
Yeah, true story. It just
What
came
is
out
happening?
this last year. But yeah.
And I didn't even know Brain Age was still a thing.
Yeah. And then
Wait. Brain Age was out in Europe for the DS. What are you talking
No,
about?
no, this is a new
This
thing. Concentration
brand new
training.
Brain Age
It's a
for the
whole new
Nintendo
deal.
3DS.
Yeah, that we.
All concentrated.
But then the first ever worldwide game specific direct was New Super Mario Brothers 2. They actually did 3 different presentations for this game, which is wild. But
why?
the weirdest thing about this, and a reminder, do you remember when we used to get the English Direct days after the Japanese Direct?
I guess kinda, not really. I don't know why I don't remember any of this.
It came a full 4 days after the Japanese Direct for America, Europe, and Australia.
They had to completely reshoot it with Reggie.
She's got a lot to say.
Reggie used to show up a lot more in these things.
Oh,
Like he was.
Well, I mean, just the Nintendo employees used to show up a lot more in these things.
Yeah,
And then-
when you started talking about it and you mentioned Reggie, I was like, man, he's not even around anymore in any of these. It's just like,
Yeah.
not even anybody.
Yeah, they used to have like the skits with like Bill and Reggie like
Yeah.
doing Yokai Watch. Those
I
are
miss
gone now.
Iwata
Well, I
so
remember
much.
that. I'll never forget
Yeah.
that watch gif of Reggie. That gave us like,
Still gets usage.
yeah,
It's
that's
useful.
the best thing.
And just when he yells Bill's name over and over, but it gets higher and higher pitched. What a weird thing. That's the direct we got. Cloud. What a weird direct. Now this day, April 17th, 2013, a day that will live in infamy. The beginning of the end. The announcement of the year of Luigi.
Oh, with the millions
The
of
worst
Luigi
sad.
just surrounding Iwata. Just went to fuck shit up.
It was the best of times, it was the worst of times for
It
poor.
was not the best of times, that's for sure.
Nintendo was at its lowest at this point. It was.
They were dead.
It
They
was
were
hard.
dead.
It was hard at the time to defend Nintendo.
Mm-hmm.
This is
Uh,
when like games for Wii U kept like we just kept hearing about Pikmin 3 and the Wonderful 101, where because it's like these games are coming out in 2 months. Just kidding, they're coming out in early 2013 now. Actually, they're coming in the first half of the year, and then they came out eventually in the second half of 2013. It was a long while.
It was a minute.
Oh, yeah.
It was some time.
The launch window.
Launch
Yeah.
window. Yeah, Nintendo had a while before they figured out the whole HG development
Yeah.
thing. But it's fine. That is, however, one of the first times they had like a theme for a direct, right? Which they would continue to do later on. Bill, like you mentioned with their skits, Bill famously got stranded on a deserted island in one direct. Just a bunch of stuff happened. But later in the year, a pretty big moment. The first ever E3 direct happened. June 11th. Do you remember any moments from the 2013 E3 direct? Because I remember one.
Was that the stupid Star Fox one?
No, that was 2015.
Oh,
2013,
Was it the
I remember
Smash Brothers one?
that was
Yes, it
Yes.
was.
Yes,
I
it
fucking
was.
love that. That's
one?
like the best intro to any E3 ever. Reggie and fucking Iwata Smash.
No, that's not that one.
No, that's
No,
2014.
This is
Smash
this is
was
the one-
announced in 2013, but the
Smash-
Mii Fighter stuff was
Yeah, this
2014.
one was.
So Smash-
this
like
one
that.
was
This one's
Donkey
fun.
Kong Country Returns, and
Or Tropical
sorry,
Freeze.
Yeah,
It was 3D World, Tropical Freeze, Mario Kart 8, Shin Megami Tensei 4, and Smash
Yeah.
Brothers, all in one presentation. Objectively, probably like game wise, one of the best presentations they've done in the Wii U era in the direct since directs existed.
Yeah.
The problem, no one could watch it. This was one that where they tried to do it on Ustream. Because remember, before Twitch, there was Ustream, and they tried to do it on their site, and both streams crashed the entire presentation.
I don't
Which
remember
is-
having any problems.
Yeah,
I remember staring at the screen and being like, people like posting about Smash Brothers being a thing,
We had
and
to.
me.
You don't remember, but we had to switch over to the European stream because the American one went down.
Yeah, I remember that part.
Wait, what was?
Why don't I remember that?
This was the. Oh yeah, I was in Europe at the time.
And like,
I actually remember.
and the thing with this one is, people who even could watch the stream, it wasn't such shit quality. Like, okay, revealing a new 3D Mario, new Mario Kart, new Donkey Kong, like that's a pretty good direct, right? But like, like they didn't really look too much different from their predecessors, and then on top of that, like the shitty stream quality makes them seem even worse. It's like this doesn't look different at all. It's like, what is this?
And it was a problem because I guess I want to have a conversation about this. Nintendo got a lot of crap at the time for going off stage.
Yeah.
People were, especially games press, were very mad at the idea of not going to a room to have a press conference.
Yeah, I remember that.
And I mean, I think part of it is, I think that the press sort of likes being able to be the ones in the room, like I think that was part of it. But I think that also there was just sort of this idea that like, when you're doing a conference, you go on stage, you're putting on a show. And I would say that the 2013 presentation especially was like, it did not utilize the format of the direct well in any way. It was very much, it was still really just Iwata talking to you, Reggie talking to you, and then them putting footage up. It was not what I would call hype inducing or particularly interesting, but but the content of the games was actually good. Just a little side note as we continue down this timeline. We got in November 27th, 2013, right? We're pretty deep into the direct at this point. It's 2 years old. Nintendo 3DS Guide Louvre District, the French art museum, got its own direct. If you don't know what this is,
I remember this. Yeah.
What is it, Noah?
It's just like a freaking game that makes you walk around this museum and tells you all about the paintings
and
the
stuff
they have inside it.
Yeah, the Louvre.
It's a companion app when you're actually
It's a companion.
There.
Yeah,
So
you go there, they give you a 3DS and a cartridge with this in it, and you point the 3DS at like pictures, and it tells you factoids about them.
Yeah, pretty much.
What
I
a weird thing.
That.
I wonder if you could still do that. I wonder if I could go right now.
When I went and visited my aunt in Seattle, and we went to the Seattle Mariners Stadium, they had this at that too, because Nintendo owned the Mariners at the time.
I had no idea.
And you would get a 3DS and walk around. Yeah, you would go around and look, and it would give you factoids on like Ichiro and a bunch of other famous stuff from Seattle. Yeah, it was weird thing. This is when Nintendo was also like, this is around the same time that they were doing like, we're gonna do a health thing where you don't have to wear it, but it'll track your health, and you're like, you guys are getting wild. This is crazy stuff. But then E3 2014 happened, and this is the one that you were thinking of, Noah. The one with Iwata and Reggie fighting.
I love this so much.
This is still to me one of my favorites that they've ever done.
Easily.
Like it made it actually like a show, right? Like I remember the Yoshi's Woolly World thing where they did a developer interview, but it was like beautifully shot in this like yarn store. So there's just this like just walls of yarn behind them, and they're just talking about like the philosophy of like putting this stuff in the game. And you're like, man, this is like watching a documentary about like game development rather than just watching an E3 presentation. This is also where
this digital event was really cool, right? Because they bumped up like the production values way more than they usually do. They made it entertaining. They did the puppets, right? This is the not the puppets, the robot chicken, the robot chicken skit.
This is the robot chicken skits. Yeah.
Where the
fan goes, "Where's Mother 3?" And then Reggie burns them alive.
Literally burns them alive. Yeah. Like this is where they showed us Splatoon for the first time, and like it was shot like in an aquarium, right? Like that. It was just
the background was just a bunch of like fish swimming around.
Yeah, the first reveal.
Aonuma snapped his fingers, and we saw Breath of the Wild for the first time.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
we didn't know it was Breath of the Wild, but it was we saw all that stuff.
Coming
so that was
2015.
2015. Please be excited.
Right after Star Fox.
And then we had just the thing was, from here on we had just a bunch. We just had a whole lot of directs very often. They started coming fast and heavy. But I would say that like, and they sort of fit the format. But like also this is when the Wii U started winding down, the 3DS started winding down. So we didn't have a lot of notable directs. And then we had in January 12th, 2017, not a direct. We saw a return to the stage when Nintendo was going to do the unveil for the Nintendo Switch. This is close enough that, Brandon, if you don't remember it, I'm going to start worrying about your memory.
No, of course I
All right.
How come we completely skipped over the Mega 64, the Reggie bot thing?
Well, that was
Reginator.
That was a teaser.
That was a
for the
pre-hype
digital
thing.
event.
Yeah, that was what they announced.
A very good thing.
It was a very good thing. That was also for E3 2014. That was before, though. That was, yeah. And they announced the Nintendo World Championships there, too. That was a whole...
But yes, I'll never forget the Nintendo Switch reveal. It was in, what, January?
It was.
January?
Yeah. See, I'm sorry. This is far enough back that I can remember things.
And, I mean, I think the thing about it is that, like, especially online at the time, it didn't get the warmest of receptions. I think that was the sort of the takeaway, is that, like, I think people watched it and, like, it was fine. There was weird parts where, like, Koizumi, like, laid on a couch on stage and was like, look how casual I am with my Joy-Con. This is so fun. And, like, Suda51 came on stage and went off script and gave the translator a heart attack.
I think this is the first time people were like, maybe Nintendo should do digital presentations. I think
yes, I think that was the moment, though.
that this was like the time where people were finally like, you know what, like we don't really miss a press conference. Turns out
press conferences, especially by Japanese companies, can be pretty awkward. Like, and so I think that, like, almost the biggest takeaway from this is, obviously, besides everything we know about the Switch now, is sort of a reaffirming of the direct format. Which, for a very long time, also, there was sort of not a traditional direct after Iwata passed away. For a good, like, year, like, a couple, like, 8 months or so. They had, like, a game-specific directs, but they didn't have a general direct. Because it was sort of, he was such the identity of directs for so long. Like, directly to you is that I'm doing the motion with my hands right now, but you can imagine, because he just is so associated with him, and the word direct. And so I think that for a long time, they sort of had to look and be like, how do we do a presentation outside of Iwata? Which was rough, but that was what they had to do. And they sort of, I think they found their footing again, because there was a while where it was sort of rough going, but I think they found good footing right after that, in like April of 2017. This is sort of the current format of the directs when they started happening, which is the headlines format. Where you see they just run through it. The pacing is frantic. It's crazy. It just keeps going, right? And it doesn't stop. And so I think that, like, that people say, well, that means that they're going to get smaller with directs. But I think it's sort of the last sort of big event that happened prior to where we are right now is, I mean, we got a Smash Brothers announced at the end of a direct that got a day of pre-hype, right? That's crazy. They don't do that anymore. I mean, 5 years ago, that would seem nuts that you would announce Smash in that way. But I think that it's a testament to how big the format of their direct has gotten, that they can now feel comfortable announcing what is, one of their biggest, most hype-inducing franchises, not at E3, but in the middle of March at a thing they did little marketing for.
Yeah, literally just like they announced the Direct is coming tomorrow, and it's just called Nintendo Direct. They're not hyping anything up. They're just saying, look forward to more updates on Mario Tennis Aces, right? And then, they close it with goddamn Super Smash Brothers. Like, it's that. I think that's the moment where you actually realize, like, boom, like, because before, like, there was these certain franchises, right? Even in the Direct format, even as, like, the Directs got, like, bigger and bigger, right? I think there was still this sense of, certain games belong at E3, right? A Super Smash Bros. Game has to be announced at E3, right? But, like, I think that's officially no longer the case, right? Like,
yeah,
Zelda could be announced literally any day of the year, and that's crazy to me, Just like, just that
now
thought.
It's strange because, like, this year they used E3 to prop up smaller games almost, right? Like, they used it to spotlight, like, Daemon X Machina. That's how they opened their E3 this year, Like,
yeah.
And I think, versus ending E3 with Smash Brothers, right, which is what they also did. So it's wild. So that was sort of my little timeline. I guess it's worth mentioning the first ever game that was announced at a Direct was Pokemon X and Y, which is crazy. Pokemon was the first ever like game that was announced at a direct. That was a big deal. But Brandon, we said at the start of this that we were going to hope that you learned a lesson. What did you learn?
I learned that I have a worse memory than I thought.
That was exactly what I was hoping you were going to say. There's a lot of them. I don't blame you for forgetting.
It's
but
wild.
I think it's fun to remember. Right? Like, we've come a long way since Donkey was dancing to Thriller on our Nintendo 3DS.
I am still shocked.
And,
It's just fun to see like how I like my takeaway with this, like going from, you know, the very first direct to now, right? I think it's just interesting to see how it kind of started out as, you know, like, hey, look forward to us talk about the games that you're looking forward to, right? Whereas now it's like it's this thing where a game announcement could happen any day of the year, you know. These things are entertaining to watch, right? Like before, like, let's be honest, like the pacing was pretty bad. They would spend 10 minutes talking about Miiverse, whatever, right? But now it's like these quick, concise presentations that like you enjoy watching. And yeah, like we're no longer confined to E3 now, right? Which I think is very interesting.
Companies now use Nintendo Directs as a launching platform for marketing campaigns, right? That's like what happens now. Like you have whole rollouts that third-party companies plan that rely upon getting a boost from a Nintendo Direct.
Yeah.
And you know what? We might cover some games that were supposed to get announced at this Direct this week that we learned about anyways.
Yes.
Because in the transition to the news that we did get, we got 2 games that were almost certainly going to be announced for the Switch at the Nintendo Direct before it got delayed, but they had to get announced anyways. Really 3 things, but first and foremost, we're going to go with the actually exciting thing first, and then we'll go to the other thing next. We got Civilization 6 potential, maybe leaked, but like officially on their website. They just uploaded the web page at the wrong time, basically.
Yeah.
And then took it down.
It's
down now, but
So
Civilization 6 is coming to the Nintendo Switch. It is not on any other console.
Huh.
And it's not
That's
announced for any other
interesting.
console. Yeah.
Yeah,
Very
it's just
interesting.
PC and mobile, and now the Nintendo Switch, which that I think this is good, right? I think this is a clear sign that the third-party support on Switch is not what it is on PS4, right? You're not getting Assassin's Creed, you're not getting Call of Duty, but you're getting games that like Into the Breach and that on the smaller scale, and then on the bigger scale, Civ 6, right? Like these games that I think make sense for the platform. A game that you look at that and you're like, yeah, like I want to play that in my bed, you know? I don't know, like
Yeah, I think especially like everyone's take on Civ 6 on Switch is like, oh no, I'm ruined. Oh no, I'm only ever going to do this now because I can take Civ with me anywhere instead of just on my computer.
Yeah, and maybe I'll actually be able to finish a freaking match now. If you just take it
Maybe.
everywhere,
Well,
you
there's
don't
not
have to stop.
the thing said that there's not online probably for this one. There's local play, but not online play for people. So that I
Is
know.
that confirmed?
Dumb.
That was
didn't
well
see that part.
the website at least only mentioned when they uploaded the website only mentioned wireless play. Maybe it'll have online, but the whole rollout. I mean, I guess the wireless play is new for the Switch version because you can't do like I guess you could do LAN with PC, but it did not mention playing it online at least. Maybe we'll find out more, and it will.
I mean,
but-
to be fair, like details are scarce, you know, because it was like an article that went up by accident and then quickly taken down, and it just had like quick bullet points of like, what's great about this, you know. But
yeah, it's getting some of the DLC, but not all of the DLC that's on PC because there's like $100 worth of DLC on PC. So like,
yeah,
I imagine they don't want to give all that away. But yeah. So and it's coming November was also the date that was listed. So that's a pretty soon. The other game though, this is true. This is a special one. First time since Final Fantasy VI, we have a numbered Final Fantasy on a Nintendo system, and it is Final Fantasy 15 Pocket Edition HD. How many words can I fit in my mouth with one title? If you have not seen this, Muzamil, what does it look like?
okay. So Final Fantasy Pocket Edition was first announced for mobile, right? And it was the concept of this game is it's the exact same story. Like the dialogue is still voiced the way it is on the full Final Fantasy 15, right? Like, this is the full quote-unquote Final Fantasy 15 experience, but like a demake, right? So they, the art style is completely different. It is disgusting. So it has...
It looks weird.
It's like, it's supposed to have a chibi look going for it, but like, I can't describe it, because the art's... like, you have to look at it, like, the thing... It's its own weird, unique thing, and I don't know why they decided to do it that way,
Look at Gladiolus. Gladiolus is just like a pretty buff boy in the regular game. In this game, he is a Frankenstein's monster. He has a gigantic torso, a little super small head, and no forearms. Just huge biceps and then hands on the biceps. It is
they don't
insane.
have mouths, right?
None of them well, they have mouths, but the mouths are super small and you can't see them.
Okay, yeah. It's a really so weird art style, but it's just funny. Like, this is the first time Final Fantasy, a numbered Final Fantasy game, has come to Nintendo since 6 on the Super
20
Nintendo.
years. 20 years, and this is it.
This is it. This is what we get. Fucking Pocket Edition HD.
Are you talking home console?
No, yeah, like a numbered Final Fantasy.
Right. Okay, because I was gonna say 3DS got some or something.
It's kind of par for the course if you think about it, because like the last.
Well, no, because like 7 through 14 are not on Nintendo.
But it's like 4 to 6 was remixed for Nintendo, and they were also chibi style.
Sure, but I mean,
No, but this is not that style either.
This is not the style of chibi that you would think. Like Final Fantasy IV is what you would, like, on DS is kind of what you would imagine, right? No, if you look at this, no, it's not that. I don't even know if it's fair to call it. It's its own weird, unique thing, and it's.
I will try to get the image so you guys can see what it is.
It's genuinely one of the ugliest things I've ever seen. Like, it's hideous. But Final Fantasy is back on Nintendo, baby.
But it's back on... but I guess it's worth mentioning that, like, Square said, hey, we are making a whole division for getting things on Switch. So maybe this is just the first of many.
No. I don't like that.
Maybe. No, it's not. It is not a good look. If you look it up. Look it up if you're listening.
I can't wait to see the entire scene of when Noctis finds out his dad is dead in this fucking ridiculous format.
Wow, spoilers, Saf. I was gonna play that game, but now there's no point.
Yeah, wow. Come on.
We're all mad. All the listeners are mad at you, Saf.
Edit it out.
So, real quick weird note, though. Since this was supposed to be, like, dropped in the Direct, like, announced and then, like, shadow dropped, now it's out on PS4 and Xbox One, but not Switch. Because they're waiting for the Direct
announcement
to release it. They said it's out now on PS4 and Xbox One, and it's coming to Nintendo Switch soon. Which, like, we all very soon. Which we all know is whenever the hell the Direct happens.
Wait, hang on. They're selling the exact same game with a shitty art style again. On the Xbox 360, Xbox and the fucking
Xbox One.
One and PS4, yep. It's $30, so like that's sort of the like sell is like it's half the price, but also Final Fantasy 15 goes on sale a whole lot already anyways.
You're still
just
money
last week.
Bad art style. No.
No, but just last week, the full Final Fantasy, the same platforms that Pocket Edition HD are available on, right? PS4, Xbox One.
Mm-hmm.
That game is available. Pocket Edition HD available for $30. Royal Edition, which is the game, the actual game, all the DLC and all the Royal Pack for $20.
Yeah, I actually almost thought about buying that recently.
Mm-hmm.
Because I recently updated to an Xbox One X.
Mm-hmm. And that is X enhanced.
Yeah, and I was like, it's an X enhanced game. And I had a free game to choose at GameStop because I guess they were doing a thing. If you get an Xbox, you get a free game with it. But that was only $20, and I was like, I want to get a $60 game. I want to get my full money's worth.
Get a big boy game.
Yeah. So I didn't get it.
It's
but
just so baffling. I mean, like, I can see why this exists on Switch, I guess, because it probably can't run the full 15. But, like,
base PS4 struggled to run 15, so, like, you can get it.
Why is this on PS4 and Xbox One? Who is going to buy this on PS4 and Xbox One when you could buy the actual game for sometimes cheaper? What a weird thing.
Well, maybe if you want to get the achievements twice.
Oh, yeah, there we go.
But
I mean, the gameplay is actually like if you don't want like a full action RPG, you just want something to experience the story with. Like there's gameplay here, but it's not nearly as involved. So maybe if you want a quick digested version of FF15, just to experience the story, you have this really ugly version.
This is it. Now there was one other thing that got announced for that was clearly going to be part of the direct. We got a drop for the Mega Man 11 demo.
Yeah.
It came a day early on Switch and then on PS4 and Xbox One the day after. Wonder why. And one of us has played it. Muzamil, talk to us about Mega Man 11.
So Mega Man 11, to sum it up, is everything I want it to be. Okay? Like, because, Mega Man has been dead for some time, right? But even then, like, when they brought him back on PS3 and 360, they just did classic NES 8-bit style, right? This is finally like, hey, we're taking Mega Man, like, as if it was made today, like, on a PS4 or Xbox One or Nintendo Switch, right? So it's like, this game, like, I think it's very pretty, right? Some people think it looks a little cheap, which, I mean, to be fair, I understand that, but I think the art style is really nice. It has this really nice 2.5D look, but a lot of the enemies and a lot of the environments are made to look like they were drawn, but I mean, it's all 3D models, right? But because of the shading they use, it's just very pretty. It plays exactly like you would want Mega Man to play. It's weird, because transitioning from older Mega Man games, they have this really stiff movement to them, right? Where this one is a little bit more smooth. So, like, for someone who has played Mega Man for so long and who has replayed the NES games and 9 and 10 just so many times, it is actually weird going into this game, right? Where it's like, you move so smoothly in this one, right? But
I saw someone be like, the game's too smooth. This is a negative for me. And I thought, like, I don't know, guys. We're getting a little crazy.
No, but yeah, it plays super well. They added this double gear system, which I think actually adds really interesting layers to the game, because basically you have this gauge you can use, right? Where you can either slow down time or power up your shots. And you have to kind of manage that gauge, because if you let it get too far in, it'll overload and then you can't use it for a long ass time. And actually the penalty is a lot longer than I thought it was. So you can stop it at any time and let the gauge go back down faster, right? But if you use it all the way, like, you have to go without it for a fair bit of time. I actually got a game over playing the demo, which is
fake
like
gamer.
That's good. I'm glad. Like, it's a hard game. That's what I want it to be, And the bosses are a lot, like, because this game is an HD game, it's using 3D models, they can go way beyond what they could using sprites, right? So, like, just the transformations and just how big the bosses get and everything about it, like, you have to play it. It's super great. I love it. I pre-purchased it immediately after playing the demo. I was like, I was already in anyway, but I was like, no, like, I need this now. Yeah, like, Mega Man 11 is, if you're a Mega Man fan, like, this is exactly what you want, And I cannot wait for it.
Now, Brandon, you've been playing a video game.
Yeah.
I'm probably playing multiple video games. A game that we've all been playing, besides Moose, Ghost Trick. So that's a game club coming up. Please look forward to it. But besides Ghost Trick,
I think we're all done playing it.
I think we all beat it. I think this is a rare instance, so please be excited. But what else have you been playing, Brandon?
Man, so I mentioned earlier I got an Xbox One X, and I got a free game with it. That was a mild segue into the game that I've actually been playing, because I decided to get myself a $60 game.
Oh, big boy bucks.
I wanted to get the whole money's worth out of this thing. And also, to be fair, I mean, it's probably a game that's not going to be $60 for a very long time, because it's a licensed game. I went with this licensed game. Jurassic World
Evolution.
Evolution.
It's a mystery.
Thank you.
No problem, buddy.
Oh, shit. You owe me a Pepsi.
Oh, fuck.
But, yeah, I've been playing that game, man. So it's a park builder, if you don't know about it. Kind of like, there used to be an old Jurassic Park builder game. Back on I think it was on the Xbox. It was actually like that's one of the rarest Xbox games nowadays. Goes for the big old bucks, you know. Like you see that game online, you're like, that's a lot of monies that you'd be spending on that game. And you know, it's like, oh man, those are cool. I actually played one back on Game Boy Advance, believe it or not, a park builder game, Jurassic Park park builder.
That's
game.
crazy.
Yeah, they had one on Game Boy Advance. This is like back in like I rented it. I rented that game, so this is back in the day. I'm old, showing my age. But I was very excited to play another one because I had mildly fond memories of, not like it wasn't like fucking Roller Coaster Tycoon because I had got really good memories of that game. But I played them a little bit and I was like, yeah, I like the idea. So I was like, yeah, I really want to play this. It's $60, but I'm gonna get it for free. So why not? So I was playing it. I actually played it on stream this past Wednesday, and it was a fun time. I enjoyed it. There's a lot of management. You get to send people on expeditions to find more fossils, and they bring back the fossils. And when they do, you can get more dinosaurs. The more fossils you get, the more more dinosaurs you can find. It's not like you have to get like multiple fossils of the same dinosaur before you finally like unlock enough DNA to
Dino DNA.
But yeah, dino DNA. You create dinosaurs, you put them in little enclosures, and you can build little stations for people to watch the dinosaurs, and eventually you can even get those balls from the Jurassic World movies. The gyro balls.
Yeah, those are cool.
They get to roll around in and stuff.
Oh baby.
And man, there's a lot to it because there's a lot more. Because when I first started playing it, I was like, okay, I don't know if this is really that cool. But then getting into it, you start unlocking more islands, so you get to manage multiple parks at once. And a lot of shit goes down. Obviously, it's Jurassic World.
I was about to say, as a person that like just the concept of managing a Jurassic Park is inherently interesting to people that like Jurassic Park, right? Like,
yeah.
Part of the whole arc of Jurassic Park is they're dinosaurs. Things are gonna go wrong.
Things are gonna break.
How do things go wrong?
You have to. So, you learn quickly by trial and error that having a bunch of random dinosaurs in one enclosure that probably aren't going to get along is not really the greatest idea.
Really?
So you end up spending your money. You get a bunch of carnivorous dinosaurs in there, and you spend money. You mix them with some herbivores, and all of a sudden they're eating each other, and you're like, "What? Okay, this is bad." All this money that I just spent on these dumb dinosaurs, and now they're just eating each other.
The beasts are unleashed.
So then I decide, okay, I'm going to build 2 enclosures. One for the herbivores, going to hang out over here, and one for the carnivorous dinosaurs, going to hang out over here. You can build little feeding areas for each one, and everything was going good. And then I built, and then I unlocked enough DNA to unlock a raptor, and I was like, cool. Let's get some raptors. They're cool. People love raptors. The
people love raptors. That is a true statement. The Toronto Raptors are beloved.
Yes. Well, turns out raptors, they don't get along with other dinosaurs no matter what, really.
They're just bad. They're just rude dudes with tude.
They're getting real angry. They're starting to pick fights with other dinosaurs, and they're not liking it. So they start bashing in the fence. Next thing I know, fence is broken.
Uh-oh.
Raptors loose in the park. Oh, not just the raptor, but every other fucking carnivorous dinosaur that was in that is loose in the park.
That's very good. Good.
So,
that makes me happy that exists.
Yeah, you have to manage it. You have to send, teams out to fix the fence, and another team out to send a helicopter to tranquilize the dinosaurs. So, you learn. It's a lot of trial and error to try to build the best Jurassic Park, and it's a lot of fun.
I almost love those builder games the most whenever they go wrong. Like that's when they're like,
fun happens.
Yeah, I mean, like on a much more lame scale, I was playing City Skylines. I built a city, and I put like a waste management facility like removed from the town because it stinks and people don't like living near it. What I didn't realize is that it was upstream of the city. So I was just dumping poop water into the river, and everyone was getting sick in my city. There was just thousands of people in the hospital. And so, I was like, well, this is a mistake. I mean, it's not as bad as people getting eaten by dinosaurs, obviously.
Yeah, I never realized Jurassic Park is really the perfect formula for a park building game, literally.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it is.
It's so, I mean, and I think that
a lot of fun.
60 might be a lot, but you getting it at free is the perfect price. But I think that
was my idea. I wasn't gonna pay $60 for that game, but getting it for free, I was into that.
Yeah.
When is the Switch version coming?
Oh no, never probably.
It's Xbox One enhanced, by the way. So definitely
4K dinos.
It's looking nice.
But you know who paid $60 for a video game this week? Maybe more. I don't know how Brexit screwed him over. Saf, you're playing a brand new video game. Hot off the presses.
Yes,
what is it?
It is Spider-Man. I've been playing it all day. It's a weird...
Or do you enjoy Spider-Man?
And this...
How is the swinging?
The swinging is fine. The swinging is okay. They try and add a lot more movement to it, a lot more depth to its movement. So you're not just swinging, but you're also running across walls, and you're warping from not warping, but you're slinging from place to place to point. It takes a little getting used to, but it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun in regards to that. The wall climbing is a little bit iffy. You can't just climb a wall. You have to just, I don't know, it's weird. You just have to run right into it and then slow down, and then you can climb walls. It is weird. You can't just do it from the ground and then climb up to a ceiling. I don't know why that happens. Maybe it's just an early game thing, but that's the difficulty. Yeah. But otherwise, flying around the city in Spider-Man is the greatest feeling. It is amazing. You're going around stopping bad guys, being the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. It's really fun. And this game, you can tell that the developers of this game are huge fans of Spider-Man. And I mean huge fans of Spider-Man. Because I spent a lot of time getting collectibles, because that's what I'm doing. I'm a crazy person. And in these backpacks, there's 2 references to really obscure missions in Spider-Man games, which is absolutely hilarious. One is a Pizza Hut, where Peter Parker just talks about, oh yeah, I thought delivering pizzas as Spider-Man would be fun. And it's a huge reference to one game where you actually, one of your missions was just delivering pizzas. Yeah,
delivering pizza as Spider-Man.
People within a time limit. You deliver pizzas to them. And it was it's quite infamous for being just quite bad. And they make another reference. To Spider-Man 2, where there was a mission where you have to save a child's balloon. And that collectible is just a picture of it's just a drawing of a little kid just with a balloon. It's I saved this child's balloon for one time, and people are, and they're super ecstatic about it for whatever reason. It's shit, those are really clever references. Yeah.
That's really good. I like that a lot. How is the combat?
The combat, it's decent. I've not gone.
Yeah. Do you think they're going to add more stuff in later on?
I don't want to jump into it because I've only played 6 hours. I only unlocked a handful of stuff. As of right now, it's fine. It's okay. It can get difficult, but you have abilities there that would be able to compensate for that. So, as to how well it improves depends on how far I get into this game and see what different abilities I unlock and shit like that. But so far, it seems decent. It's serviceable.
Okay. So overall, you're positive on Spider-Man.
All good. Yep, I'm enjoying it, and I'm going to continue playing this, man. It's really fun.
All right. If I may, I've been playing a video game this week. It's been a long time coming, but we have finally in the West Dragon Quest XI Echoes of an Elusive Age in English. Hey, how about that? You can actually read the words now. And I don't want to go too long on it, but I'm enjoying it a whole lot. Saf has put 6 hours into Spider-Man. That is a healthy amount of video gaming. I put 6 hours into the casino in Dragon Quest XI because I have a problem.
I mean, that sounds like something Saf would do, but
it's very much. Yeah, it's a very Saf.
Shoe was on the other foot.
The roles have been reversed, but just the one thing I want to, if you want a further in-depth talk about Dragon Quest XI and sort of, and I agree with a lot of the points, Tim Rogers, the man at Kotaku, did a 30-minute review of Dragon Quest XI. It's really just sort of a dissertation on why Dragon Quest as a series is unique, right? Because it is extremely old school. It still clearly is building off the base of the very first Dragon Quest game in a way that like Final Fantasy doesn't, right? Final Fantasy is now an action thing. You know, you can now play it as a Pocket Edition HD. Dragon Quest is, you can still feel that foundation. You can still see a slime and you're like, that's a slime. I know what a slime looks like. But it has been almost 12 years since we've had a Dragon Quest on a modern home console that was not an MMO that only released in Japan. And so it really just, it benefits a lot from the move to HD. Just the character, I mean, if you don't know what Dragon Quest is, it's an RPG. Kira Toriyama, the Dragon Ball guy, does the artwork for all the characters and for all the monsters, and the monsters come to life in just an incredible way. I love just seeing when they die, each of their own unique animations, right? Just little ways that they react to different types of attacks is charming. And you know, it's not like it's not like there's like any like one like huge moment, but they add up to really create a appreciation of detail that's awesome. But I want to specifically say the towns, because famously Square back in Final Fantasy 13 said there are no towns in Final Fantasy 13 because making HD towns is impossible. I guess in the meantime, they figured it out, because Dragon Quest XI has some of my favorite towns in video games, and that's a big claim, but I stand by it, because each of them, it feels incredibly well realized, well lived in. A lot of them take clear inspiration from real life cultures. There's a town that's very clearly based in Japan, one that's very clearly based on Greece, one that's very clearly based on Italy. But along the way, each of them has a unique event you can do with them. One of them, you know, is a desert nation. They use the horses to cover sands quickly. So guess what? You do horse racing there. One town has a casino. One town has a coliseum where you do fights. And there are just little stories that happen in all of them that aren't quests. They're just little things you can take note if you stop and you take in the roses, which is sort of how I'm treating this game. I've played a lot of it, but I'm sort of like, it's the thing that you do late at night when you come home from work and you're tired. You get a nice warm of hot cocoa, except it's too hot outside, so I don't drink hot cocoa, but I play Dragon Quest to feel just nice and good inside. And so I would heavily recommend it if that sounds like something you're interested in. But that is, you know, a lot of talking about modern video games that have come out in the last couple of months. Now we're going to take our perspective back to a game that is at least a year old, could be even older, on the list. Thanks for the excitement there, Muzamil. Last week, I added Zombies Ate My Neighbors. It made it somewhere on the list. I think it did pretty good. I wasn't mad at how it ended up. I think it was just above Alundra, but below Until Dawn. But this week, the baton is now being passed to Saf.
I'm always worried when Saf.
I mean, seeing as that today's a unique special podcast, I thought of, you know what? I thought of today being a good day to add Kid Icarus Uprising. But I'm not going to do that.
Thank you.
Instead, I'm going to honor the theme of this podcast of Nintendo Directs and put on a game that Will has told me was one of the first games to have its own dedicated Directs. The wonderful 101.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Oh!
Yes!
Oh! What is the Wonderful 101?
The Wonderful 101 is an action game. Sort of in a style like Pikmin, where you're a superhero out of 100 possible superheroes, and you go around town stopping alien invaders and teaming up with the 100 other superheroes to stop them. You get different abilities. You get like the ability to form a giant fist or a giant sword, whip, gun, and it's very humorous and very fun. And it is fucking hyping to the max. That ending is amazing.
Who?
It is made
Who made
by
it?
Platinum Games.
Saf, I've heard of that name before. What are they known for?
They are known for Teenage Mutant
Bayonetta,
Ninja Turtles,
Joe, Kami,
Jesus Christ, Saf.
Transformers,
Come on, Saf.
Legend of Korra.
Stop this.
Come on.
No.
They're the best in the biz at action games. That's what they're known
that
for.
too. They had that little side project.
They're the successor to Clover, who made Devil May Cry. They,
Okami, a game on the list.
Yes, it's like these are, and actually, sadly, this is still
Beautiful Joe, baby.
This is still Hideki Kamiya's most recent game, but it's just kind of
R.I.P. Scalebound.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean,
Bring it back.
they made a lot of action games. I would dare say The Wonderful 101 is the most unique among them.
Oh, for sure. This game stands on its own. Maybe to a detriment in some cases, but like
Yeah.
everything from its visual identity to just the core concept of the game to even the controls, right, are very unique amongst, because Platinum, even as Platinum, right, they've made a lot of action games,
not always
right, like Bayonetta and Metal Gear Rising and Nier. It's just like a whole bunch of action games that kind of play pretty different, but like at its core, it's pretty similar, right? I feel like Wonderful 101 differentiates itself a lot. And I want to talk about quickly the controls, okay? Because this is probably the most divisive issue in the game, right?
Yes.
Tell me about it.
The thing with the controls, and I because I know everyone's going to be negative about it, so I want to start out first on this. I'm going to be a little positive on it. I'm going to get it out of the way. I played the demo of this game, and when I first played the demo, I was like this is shit, right? Like, I mean, like I want to love this game, and I can't, right? And then on someone linked me to a YouTube video.
I was gonna mention this. Like, this is a game where, like, you genuinely, the first advice I would give to anyone is go watch Chip Cheesem explain the combat on YouTube.
Yeah, go watch a YouTube tutorial on this game. Once you do that, everything clicks. The problem is that tutorial is not available in the game itself.
you need outside resources.
Because the way it works is like your core attacks are done by doing a gesture, right? Which you could either do with the touch screen, which quite frankly is cumbersome, especially on the Wii U gamepad screen where you have to kind of push in to get it to actually, what is it called?
Register,
work?
yeah.
Yeah. Or you could do it with the right stick, and you ask yourself, how the hell do I draw on the right stick, right? But actually, once you watch a YouTube video, there's quick gestures for all of them. And it actually makes it makes it a lot nicer from that point on.
Now, to speak positively, because I think the controls get in the way a lot, right? I would say that, like, while they are neat, while doing all the different formations would probably be very hard to do if you were just, like, L-being and R-being through the different forms, because higher level tech has you swapping towards multiple forms at once in the middle of a combo. The fact that there is just so much, like, that there can genuinely be a 30-minute video about all the different depths and techniques that you can do with this really wild system, right? Like, there's, like the depending on how many, you have 100 essentially guys to use at once, and depending on how many you use, you can get a bigger or smaller weapon that does more or less damage. But also you can, like, send out a squad to, like, do a sword combo while you're building a fist, and you can, like, combo from that to that. So sometimes you don't want to invest all your guys in one form because that's how you extend your combo.
It's better to do multiple mini little attacks instead, because your 100 people are like a resource, right? Like, you can either one big 100-man attack or 3 33-man attacks, which is very
the fact that it takes about 20 hours to get there is a problem. Because the game is about 10 hours. So you sort of need to play through it multiple times to really be like, oh man, look at this combat. But when you do, it's good combat.
It's good combat.
And Saf mentioned the ending of this game.
Cyberpunk.
Oh, baby.
Don't spoil it. I never beat the game. I never beat
the
the
final bosses. We won't spoil it, but it is one of the most hype-inducing things I've ever seen in a video game. You know,
one of the best QTE experiences
I would say
I've had in a video game.
the best QTE I've ever done.
He escalated
I
it.
hate that.
He escalated that, but
See, I'm
Well,
very
that's your fault.
upset.
Why?
That's fine. Don't worry about it. You're not gonna. You're not gonna know.
You're never gonna play it.
No, well, I'm very upset because I loved the Wonderful 101 for a lot of reasons.
Yeah.
But I could not get past the controls.
You should have watched the YouTube video, Brandon.
I don't like that.
So dumb, though.
No,
I didn't know there was a YouTube video I had to watch.
I'm in the exact same boat as Brandon. I absolutely loved the whole idea about the Wonderful 101. I love the music, the characters, everything. It's just I could not fucking play that game properly. It was way too confusing to the point where I just gave up. I just got too frustrated.
I think the problem isn't the controls, but rather that there's no good. They don't teach you.
They don't teach you, and they could have gone a better way. Like if they would have realized, they should have realized that. Okay, maybe this is a bit too much to take in. They should simplify it a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Get good.
I do like Saf's segue of using a game with awful controls. That is really cool.
Oh, whatever. You haven't even played Kid.
Oh no! I didn't think about that, but he's not wrong, folks. He's not wrong.
Just to be clear, if you add Kid Icarus Uprising to this list, I'm quitting the podcast. I'm putting this on air.
Yeah. Oh man, why didn't we do it sooner?
And I have all the passwords that I pay for the SoundCloud, so just keep that in mind.
All right. Well.
Okay. All right.
Saf, where do you want this on the list?
Like, that's the main thing that I have with both Brandon and Noah. I've beaten this game. I enjoy this a lot, but I kind of want to, because of the controls, I want to put it somewhere below Fire Emblem at least.
I was looking around there.
Yeah, that sounds about right. I would put it right below Fire Emblem personally, but
I would put it below Animal Crossing.
Fair.
Because I think that it has, in some ways, Wonderful 101 is sort of similar to Drill Dozer. A lot of neat ideas. Sometimes the controls don't quite get it done, but I like them both a lot.
Fair, and I like the, the actual style of the game.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the worlds, the characters, the music, the everything, the art, better than Drill Dozer. They're both very good, but Wonderful 101 is something special when it comes to everything other than its controls.
I'll settle for above Animal Crossing.
Above it.
I'll settle. I like below, but I mean,
I don't have a strong
that's a
opinion
good
either
area
way,
in general.
above or
Like I
below
won't mind
Animal
if it's
Crossing.
like below or above, but
But I would rather put it above.
I'd rather put it below.
Saf, you're the tiebreaker. Saf,
Below.
above or below?
Put it below.
maybe above. I mean,
You don't even like Animal Crossing.
True.
Didn't change his mind.
I think we have. I'm not opposed to it. But all right, I think we settled that pretty quickly.
All right, that was a good fast one. I appreciate that, boys. Wonderful 101 coming in at number 23 on the list. 21 Fire Emblem Awakening, 22 Animal Crossing, 23 The Wonderful 101, 24 Drill Dozer, 25 Elite Beat Agents. Good five. I love all of those games.
The middle, we have a very good middle. In fact, I don't think the middle is really representative of what should be the middle. We need some.
Oh no,
games.
these are all games that are like 8 out of 10s. You know, like
Yeah.
We need some shittier games. Like I'm not gonna lie.
well, it's hard because like who cares about the 6 out of 10s? No one remembers them. But that is the podcast for this week. It was a little bit different, a little bit of a different format. Thanks for hearing me out on all of it, boys. Thank you all for listening, of course. Brandon streamed earlier this week, Jurassic Park Evolution. I meant to mention that when you were talking about it. So, that's up on the Twitch channel if you want to see what the game looks like and see him get up to some dino hijinks. But we stream outside of that. Saf and Noah stream Terraria whenever Saf isn't sleeping.
Sorry about last week.
Sleeping cap off.
And Monday, So we said we co-op club. Did that happen? You know, sometimes co-op club.
It was a holiday this
happened.
week, so
this past Monday.
Labor Day.
Holiday.
You're right. Take the day
Yeah,
off.
it's Labor Day.
But yeah, so go check out the Twitch channel, twitch.com/jumpupsupercast, twitter.com/jumpupsupercast, twitch.tv. Twitch, what are you doing? Twitter.com/jumpupsupercast. To get updates on when the podcasts go live. For example, when our episode on Ghost Trick goes up later this week.
We're back on YouTube.
Also Instagram. Back up on YouTube. It's the thing.
It's true.
Also Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not following us on Instagram, you're missing out because Brandon's been doing a little extra thing there.
Oh, a little ARG, a little alternate reality game.
Yeah, he's doing a little thing called he's giving a little sneak preview for the next Game Club games, usually before they happen.
Oh my god! Now I want to go to Instagram.com/jumpupsupercast and see what's going on.
Yeah. Before the episode for Zach and Wiki even aired, Brandon got Ghost Trick in the mail and said, "Hey, the Zach and Wiki episode's coming up tomorrow.
Oh,
But if you really want to get a jump start on seeing what the next game is, here's Ghost Trick."
oh, wow! You're a leaker.
The
anonymous.
And those are very good pictures, by the way. I took on my Galaxy S9 Plus, very good camera, looking nice.
Wait, we were paid by Galaxy Plus? What?
So you get exclusive content on the Instagram, so that's exciting.
I'm looking. All right, the third post on the Instagram I don't endorse. The one with Brandon and his friend in the bed, I don't endorse that one. But the rest of them, proudly endorsed. But it's fine. But Brandon, you did for doing this secret little adventure on Instagram. I think you've earned the final phrase.
Oh my goodness! I feel so compelled. So compelled that I actually had something to say. Now I don't remember what it was because I was actually thinking earlier. Man, I'm. What if I get the final phrase? Oh, this is really good. Now I have no fucking idea what it was.
And that, folks,
so instead,
is Brandon's final phrase.
That's we learned earlier in the podcast. Apparently, I have a real bad memory problem.
Good to know that you're consistent.
But you know what? I just want to say, everybody go out there, and if somebody comes up to you and says something that, maybe at first you don't agree with, I want you to take a look at things from maybe their perspective, and instead of just dismissing it, try to think about how they feel, and open up your mind a bit. Maybe see things from a different perspective, and maybe you'll start thinking a different way too. Because there's a lot of things out there that, if you open up your mind, you can really get to know people better, and just love one another, and try to understand where people are coming from. Be nice, and have an open mind, and just be a good person. Play some video games, have a good time, cooperate with everybody. And just be a good guy.